Hey Teresa Barker, hey Tracy, hey Julie Bastable, good morning. Even though it's not morning, I'm not sure where you're viewing from. You might be over in Australia. Hey Kelly. I know, too early to be doing that, I know. I need to stop yawning. I did, um, hey Jennifer Baruki, I did, I basically did the horoscopes for February for half of the zodiac. I think that's why I'm sort of tired, to be honest. Because it's like when you tap into a collective reading like that, and you're doing it for, not only are you doing it for all of, say, the sign of, like, let's just say I'm a Pisces, so I'm going to use Pisces as an example. Not only are you shuffling with the intention of reaching all of the Pisces that may potentially tune in at any point in time now and in the future, but you're also sort of trying to connect with the energy of people that have Pisces moon, Pisces rising, or planets heavily placed in Pisces. That's a lot of people, you know? So um, it's not like I connect to each and every person, right? But I'm trying to connect to that energy that like may be affecting all of them throughout the month of February. So I did 6 signs. I did all the air signs. I did Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and then I did all of the water signs, um, Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. So it's a lot after a while. Like even though this stuff, I don't know. To me, it kind of wipes me out. But I was on a roll and I got 3 done and I was like, oh, let's do 3 more. And then, then you realize, wait, I just did 6 people or 6 sets of signs. It's a lot. It's half the zodiac. So I think that's the reason. Plus, it's also been really gray and rainy here all day. So I think it was a good day to kind of do that. But now it's catching up to me. I did grab a little Dr. Pepper for a little caffeine if I need it, because I'm just kind of tired. But I'm just going to share out to groups really quick, and then we'll get started. How are you guys doing? Hey Michelle, how are you? Hey, I said hello to Kelly. I said hello to Tracy and Julie. Tracy. Charm divination is where it's a throwing of charms. So it's similar to like the old school throwing of the bones, right? Which was an old way of divining in like tribal cultures, like through Africa and stuff like that. Even some Asian cultures, I believe, had it, where they used to take bones and throw them, and depending on where they landed. And runes, supposedly, I believe, were originally a bone thing. Like originally runes were, which is Scandinavian, they were carved out of bone, I believe, the original runes. At least that's what my feeling is. I could be wrong about that. But so it's a sort of a divinatory tool, but instead of using bones, I use actual charms like silver or metal, um, dice, different things in a box that I have here on my desk. And I throw it out on a board, and then from that, I can sort of determine or talk about what I see or what it's making me feel. Similar to like looking at, tarot cards. It's just another source of divination. It's kind of fun. I think it's super fun. I was inspired to do it because I saw somebody online doing it on YouTube, and I thought that she was kind of interesting. But the minute I saw it, it like took me to this place of, oh wait, I remember doing that. Like that's how I felt when I was watching her doing it, and it took me to that place of like the throwing of the bones and sort of. I also had a bag of runes that I've had for a long time. I never quite learned runes. I studied them for a little bit when I was, God, years ago, when I was in I want to say in my 20s. So this was like 20 some odd years ago. I had gotten this bag of runes as a birthday present. I've been reading cards since I was in high school, so I'm 46 now. So I would say since I was like maybe 16, 17, 18, around then is when it started. So I've probably been reading cards close to 30 years. I mean, like learning in the beginning part, but always been around it, that sort of thing. So, so runes were a next natural progression, and I sort of learned some of them. There's like Airwas and all of these different names and stuff like that. And then I was more into cards though, and other divinatory tools, you know, like pendulums and things like that, because they were just quicker. The response time was quicker, and that sort of thing. But I think that I probably have a connection to runes too. I could certainly learn them if I wanted to give them the respect and the time that they deserved. But they didn't just, I sort of feel like they didn't necessarily captivate me or hold my attention as much as sort of like cards do. And then with charm readings, charms hold my attention because there's so many, you know, the intricacy of the different charms and how they lay next to one another and where they are on the board and all of that all kind of factors in. And the topic that you're reading, which is similar to like cards to me in that way. So it's kind of like where your brain takes you. Shit, I can't remember if I shared this. I hope I haven't shared this twice there, but if I shared twice to Empowering Empaths, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to share it twice if I did by accident. I just got to talking and can't remember where I shared. So Kristen, if you're out there and I shared to the wrong place, let me know. Oh, silly me. Give me one moment and let me do this so that I don't screw this up, because I'm already on the path to screwing it up. Damn it. Little aside, even though I'm trying not to screw things up, I am going to talk for a minute. I did do the air signs. I just mentioned that, you guys. They are up on the YouTube channel. And I did all of the water signs for February of 2020. There's some interesting stuff that's going on this month. I think it's interesting, at least. I feel like my Geminis and my Aquariuses are going to bond over the month of February. Keep that in mind. I also feel like there were some similarities between Cancers and Scorpios. It was weird. Some of the same cards were coming up for the same, the two different signs in the same element, right? So like two of the air signs had very similar cards, and there was like sort of similar lessons between Scorpios and Cancers. So if you guys know those people, like say you're a Scorpio and you have a good friend who's a Cancer, keep on the lookout in the month of February. Connect with that person. Or if you're a Scorpio with like say a Cancer rising or a Cancer moon, look at both of those, because it means it's like doubly powerful, I think. Or the message is, you know, twice as much there, so to speak. I just haven't necessarily seen them sort of correlate or overlap like that. I mean, in one card, the Seven of Pentacles, which I've never seen until last night when we were doing the How I Can Help You Hour, showed up in 3 different readings today. Like it showed up, I want to say, in Gemini, in Cancer, and in Aquarius or something. It just kept showing up, the card, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. So a lot of people are like sowing the seeds for long-term growth right now in the month of February. Ooh, that click on my heater. That was definitely somebody going, ding, you're right. The little ghosts or angels or whatever are in my house, they just tapped my heater to confirm that what I just said was correct. They're like, yeah, bitch. Don't you know it, yeah. They're from Minnesota. All my spirit guides are from Minnesota. They like to drink the pap. So, hold on one second. I am like screwing this up left and right. I don't even know where I've shared, where I haven't shared. I'm a little rummy at this point. I tried to get in a little nap in between, but I had to feed the dogs and get them out and stuff like that, so that didn't happen. I didn't get to create the downtime that I wanted. But I'm glad that I got all 6 done, because that means I only have to do the earth and fire, which I hopefully will get done tomorrow. If I can get those done tomorrow, then I can get about doing the love pick-a cards for February. I want to have those done before the 1st of February so you guys can have them in times for Valentine's Day. These are going to be my first pick a card surrounding love. Gross. Yuck. It's not that I don't like love. I'm working on self-love versus love of another. I think that the more that I find, I mean, I do love others, trust me, but I think that I'm ready. I need to love myself before I'm ready to be in a full-blown relationship. I spent like a lot of my 20s and 30s chasing relationships, and it was just like fruitless. Although I was present, so there was some fruit involved, but it wasn't, it didn't really give me the sort of payoff that I was expecting, or the expectation was like, oh, this is going to fix me, this is going to give me purpose, oh, I'm going to feel so much better once we're madly in love and I can fix you. Because then once I fix you, I'll feel better about me. Oh my god, you're my twin flame! Put that heroin down, I love you! No. Oh god, no. Messy Bessie. Ah, oh, girl, no. I can't. I think it's age too. Like, I like my life. Like, I like being alone in the sense that I don't have to answer to anybody. You know, I can go to the bathroom with the bathroom door open. The only people that give me dirty looks are the dogs. You know, they're just like, really, girl? But they still love me. But they would eat garbage. So I don't know if that's a fair trade-off, a barometer of how well I'm doing at life. But I'll take it. I will take it. All right. You second that, Julie Bossable? I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Awesome. I just think that, like, my thing is as I get older, I realize that really the truth is, or what I think my truth is what I should say. I don't want to say anybody else's truth, but what I think my truth is in regards to relationships is that my first, most important and primary relationship is my relationship to myself. And then it's my relationship to my pets, right? And then it's my relationship probably to you guys or my family, right? Those are kind of, how it goes. And my pets kind of average up higher than my family only because I'm responsible for their care. In the sense that if I stop feeding them, they're in trouble. So they're a little bit higher up there as far as on my radar than my, say, family members that can feed themselves and get to and from and stuff. So that's why I place my pets a little bit higher. It's not that I don't care about my family members. It's just sort of like my pets are a bit dependent. So I go more for this idea of loving myself, and maybe if I actually achieve that love, or I get to that place where that becomes a constant, like, everlasting flow, and it becomes more natural, and it is, then I have that much more to sort of offer someone else. And I don't necessarily need someone else to sort of fix me or complete me, which, like I said, back in my 20s, I really was banking on the fact that a relationship was going to fix me. And that's not the case. Relationships don't fix people. They actually sometimes can exacerbate people's issues. So I kind of feel like the ideal situation for me at this point, whether or not I'll experience it in this lifetime, because I am getting old and the clock is ticking, but I'm not worried about that, but would be to be feeling sort of like complete and whole and not in need of a relationship. And at that point, once that sort of feeling has truly settled and I'm not sweating it at all, if a relationship were to come my way, I would want that person to also be in the same place, so that we bring our whole full-fledged selves into the relationship together with everything that we have to offer present at the table. And what kind of a relationship is that? Like, that's what I want. That's like the whole cake. Like, I want that, or else I don't want to be bothered. I'd rather just poop with the door open and be left alone. Like, I know that's kind of gross and graphic, but I live my life. Like, I'm just sort of like, I eat what I want, I stay up as late as I want, I go to bed, I just do whatever I want, and it's comfortable. So, are there times that I'm lonely? Yeah. But, do I want to be in something just to be in something so that I don't have to deal with myself? No. And are there, like, a lot of couples that I see that are out there that are, like, kind of at tables, and the minute they sit down, they're like this, on their phone, not talking? Yeah. And that's not what I want either. I want somebody that's like a companion that, like, is interested in me as much as I'm interested in them. And I don't want that to fade out, right? Like, I think that fades for people. And I don't know why that is. I'm not trying to say that if that's fated for anybody in their relationship, that their relationship is invalid. But that sort of idea scares me. I would hate to be in something where, not hate, I should never say hate, but I would dislike being in something where I could feel it waning and I couldn't do anything to stop it. That would make me sad. That would be really, really heartbreaking. And so, that's not necessarily a fear, that's just a statement, you know? But so to me, I feel like it's more important that I work on me and wait for the right thing. And when the right thing comes, if it exists, I'll know. I trust that I'll know. I'll trust that my guides and my spirit won't let me miss it. Won't let me miss the mark on it, you know? But it's got to be the right thing. Because at this point, I'm just so old, it's like, I don't feel like, not that I'm so old, but I'm just old enough that I don't feel like I want to make any accommodations for anything other than the real deal. But I am going to do a love reading for you all, so so look forward to that coming in the pipe. That's going to be great. I don't think that I do have the capacity to love, certainly. But I just don't think that I'm required to be in a relationship to be happy anymore. Where's Miller Beach? Y'all are talking about love is a beach. I love Miller Beach. That's cool. Love can be a beach. You're welcome, Nate. Love is a battlefield. Get it, Pat Benatar. Get it, Tammy Sylvester. When I bid adieu, I got what I want now. Beat it. So let me look and see. We are not old. We are seasoned. Exactly. Well seasoned is how I like to put it. So let me see. Do I have? I'm just looking. All right. So at this point, I don't have any reservations for. Oh wait, no. Excuse me. What is that? Oh, that's just old. Okay. At this point, I don't have any reservations for Charmings. So let me adjust the camera and let you guys decide if any of you want Charmings. They are $25. This is a paid service. This is a way that I generate income. So I do have to charge for the Charmings. They are $25 and you get to pick the topic. Let me adjust my cameras while you guys talk amongst yourselves and make decisions. I don't have any, Janet, so it's up to you. Like, I don't have, if you send over the cash, I will do the charming. But I gotta adjust my cameras really quick. Let me see here. Flip it vertically. There we go. Little back, what is this? This is a little bit of the back behind the scenes here. You guys get to see my desk where I keep everything, the decks and stuff like that, my sage, a bit kind of behind the scenes. What are you doing? Yeah, it's okay, that's the charm box, ding dong. Ingemar's here. Let me see if I can get him on camera. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I can't because he is, I've just set the camera, so I'll leave it alone. Ingemar came in the room. I just think he's so pretty. He's a little bit weird, but he's like socially antisocial, but he's a really pretty cat. Anne Hellman, a charming is where I'll show you. These in the box here are the charmings. There's a series of all kinds of different things. Like there's dice, there's little metal pieces, there's Scrabble pieces. And I dig around until like a voice in my head says go. And when I sort of get this like kind of go, like now you've got it, I grab it, I drop it down, and where they fall right here on the box top tells me a little story. And I sort of interpret that story, and that's how the reading works. And I sort of section out my box top depending on what I'm looking at and what the subject matter is. If I'm doing like a past life charming, then the whole box top could just represent the totality of that lifetime. If I'm doing something on a certain subject, it could be, I'm checking, Ducky. Sorry, I didn't have my thing up. All right, thank you, Janet. I see that you sent money. Thank you very much. Hey, Jacqueline Ann, how are you? So that's how I work. So that's what a charming is. So you messaged who? Tammy, me? Hi, Nova Scotia, Canada. Hi, Catherine Grunke. How are you? Oh, you guys are talking to somebody else. Maybe. Oh, really? That is so cool. She's one of my favorites. True story. Pat Benatar is your third cousin? Stop it. That is way cool. Mary, that is rad. Hey, Bertie Birchwoods. You haven't been around in a while. I see that, Janet. Thank you. Do you have a subject matter that you want me to charm on? Is Mick here, Mary? Because Mick's paid for, so whenever he shows up, he's got a charming. Jacqueline Ann, they are $25. And you would use this link that I'm typing in right now. You would use the PayPal link there to send over $25 in the Engelgeist 333 link in the that's in blue there. If you use that link, that will show you all the ways to get a hold of me. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love you forever if you did it. And you could like the business page, and you can send me money to do a reading for you. And it gets done right now live on TVs. It's okay, Mary. Whenever he shows up, I know that you've paid for him. So, and for those of you that are new on Facebook, I know I've got some Facebook watchers that are new. I'm speaking to people that are watching me via YouTube too. So you may not be seeing it in the chat who I'm responding to when I'm saying things like Mary and this and that. I'm talking back and forth between Facebook and YouTube. So a lot of my regular viewers know that. But for those of you that are new, like the person that I'm addressing right now is over on YouTube. So you can't really see her Pat Benatar third cousin comments. But that's pretty cool. If he's not here though, Mary, that's okay. I know that you bought him a reading, so whenever he shows up, like, you just let me know when he's here, and I'm happy to do it. There's no rush on, him showing up. I mean, he is going through some stuff, you said, so I totally understand. Don't worry about that. There's no rush whatsoever. I've collected the money, so the reading is good, like whenever he's ready. And if for some reason he doesn't want to do it and you want to cash it in for yourself at some point, you can do that too. I mean, you paid for it, so you just tell me what to do, when to do it, and I'll do it, kind of thing. So let me put the chat box back up, because every time I change cameras, I can't see the chat. No, I know you do, Bertie. It's good to see you back. I just haven't seen you in a while. I just love your name, Bertie Birchwood, so I just think it's a great name, so when I see it, it makes me smile. Kelly Talbot says she's a cross-watcher, LMAO. It's just where the notifications pop up where I'll be. That's fine. I'm all for cross-watchers. Cross-watchers, cross-dressers, all of it. I love it all. I have no... Facebook did forgive me, Tammy. Yes. I'm going to leave my clothes on tonight, though, I think. Just, for fear that I don't want this video to get torn down. Janet, have you responded yet to me? Oh, wait, just a general for the next 6 months? All right, Janet. That's what we're going to do. Let's get started with Janet's. If anybody wants to purchase a charming, you can certainly continue to do so, but I'm going to concentrate on Janet's charming right now. I'm going to turn the cameras back to the charming board, and we'll get started. General 6 months. Here we go. Interesting. There's a fair amount of stuff going on. 6 months. So we have a lot of E's here. We have a D, E, E, and a J. So I don't know that that means anything, but that's what you have in letters. Let's see what's going on here. What do we have going on here? All right, Jana, I'm gonna say this right out of the gate as I'm looking at these charmings. I feel like when I'm looking at the next 6 months for you, I feel like there's big change getting ready to happen. Like this feels like there's a lot of activity in your conscious mind, and if it's not here yet, it's about to be here. Does that make sense? Like to me, this feels a little bit like a whirlwind. It's not that it's overwhelming. I think that you might be overthinking it, is what the feeling that I get from this. It seems like you're mulling over a lot of different opportunities over the next 6 months. Um, there is sort of a. Let me just look at this for 1 second. I feel like there's a fight amongst these charms, if that makes any sense to you at all. I feel like there's a fight, like not in the sense that they're fighting amongst one another, but there's like a struggle. And the reason why I say this is this butterfly, which is the grand transformation or the big transformation, is face down kind of in the center of it all. Like I feel like you're resisting some sort of change over the next 6 months. And it's a conscious resistance, right? Like you're making the decision to sort of not do it. And part of the reason is this butterfly is making me feel that. Also, the bony fish is here, which makes me feel like also that sort of resistance. You have the lovers here, which I don't know why, Janet, but I get this vibe like I know that you're married, but I don't know something either new is coming love wise or like you're rekindling or deepening your relationship with your existing husband. I'm not sure. Um to me, this feels like this could be new horizons, and that might be some of the resistance going on here. Let me just look at this for a minute. We have carnelian, which is the to me, this is sort of the base chakra stone. We also have the clear quartz crystal, and we have the amethyst crystal. So I feel like grounding is going to be key for you over the next 6 months. Also, trusting your intuition is going to be key. Your home life might feel turned upside down a little bit. The teapot, the tea kettle upside down is sort of significant of home. And that's what I feel like. I feel like all of these charms are kind of swirling in a circle here. And you're kind of like, what is going on? The horse is up, so personal power is good. It feels to me like you're going to feel like you can maintain some control over what is going on, but it just feels like there's a lot going on. And you're trying to manage it all. Maybe manage it by yourself, cover it all by yourself, carry it all out by yourself. We do have this plastic little, I cut this off of a ring that I've had for a long time. It's got these little dolphins on it, but it reminds me just of like sort of the innocence of childhood and being able to play, like the brightness and the colors of it. And when it's flipped over like this on top of the hammer, it says to me, it kind of gives me this idea of all work and no play makes Janet a dull girl. Like, and you also have the metal cobra here, which he's face down, which to me is a good thing, but he is sort of there. So this says to me that there might be some annoying people or situations that are also kind of on the perimeter of all of everything that you're dealing with. They may not pose like a major threat, but they kind of are annoying you. And this also sort of stands in the way of your ability to sort of play with this here. I feel like this, with the hammer underneath and the helping hand actually reaching out and touching the hammer, feels like you know that there's a lot of work to be done over the next 6 months or a lot of adjustments to be done. And this sitting over that says to me, it's like, I'll play later, I need to work now, right? Or the two are at odds with one another. Like you don't allow yourself to have a little bit of both. And it's funny because we have this like sort of playful charm face down here. We also have the lovers here. So it's like, it makes me want to ask this sort of question amongst these charms of like, where are you allowing yourself to have fun right now? Or maybe, I mean, we are looking at 6 months into the future or over the next 6 months. Be aware of that because I feel like there is this benefit that you could get from having some enjoyment while you're dealing with sort of whatever it is that you're kind of carrying. You have the Virgo charm down here. Virgo is obviously an earth sign and tends to be grounded. So I don't know what your sign is, Jenna. Are you been a lot of changes recently and more to come? Okay, well, that's what this feels like. This feels like this is all swirling around and you're trying to maintain a sense of like control. Virgo's a very very much a sort of methodical earth-based sign. They can be about control. They can be about being grounded. I think that the earth signs are the most grounded of all of the signs, the Capricorns, Taurians, and Virgos. So you have this Virgo energy down here, but Virgo also rules the nervous system. So it could be grounded, but it could also be a little nervy or weird for you too. So just be mindful of that. These red dye usually signify either love. Sometimes they can signify anger. For some reason, I don't think you guys can see it. You have the 4 down here. To me, this feels like this could be anger of some sort. It's kind of far away from all of this drama, but it might be like when you break away from dealing with these sort of things in your day-to-day, maybe when you get alone time over the next 4 months or 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you might find yourself a little frustrated, like when you're by yourself, like working through frustrations, working through this idea of having to do it on your own. What is this charm? Let's see. This is if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. So I like that this charm is here, even though it's face down. It's telling me like you don't realize it yet, but you might realize it towards the end of this time period, that believing in yourself really is key. You have all the skill set here, right? Like you have the horse, which is personal power. You have the helping hand. You have the hammer, which means hard work. You're not foreign to hard work. It just feels like your home life might be a little bit turned upside down. Decisions around the home, decisions that may affect the home. And I feel like you're the one kind of in charge of these decisions. And this is why you need to ground and trust your intuition. There's also, you have the clear quartz here too, which is, to me, is about clarity. And this arrow shooting straight up, to me, feels like this is about, towards the end of the 6 months, you will get more clarity and sort of clear away some of this, I wouldn't call it overwhelm. It doesn't feel like overwhelm to me. It just feels like you're managing a lot over the next 6 months. And that's where I feel like this resistance here, like I really feel like when I look at this butterfly, like you're resisting some sort of transformation consciously. Like I don't think that this is a bad thing. I think that this is a conscious decision on your part where you're like, I can't afford to do that right now, or do you see what I'm saying? Like it's just like this idea of like, I can't afford to take that luxury right now, or I can't afford to allow myself to transform into the beautiful butterfly just yet because I've got too much to do. It's sort of the vibe that I get from these charms. I've got too much work on my hands before I can really enjoy myself. It's kind of like putting off, the vibe that I get here is like sort of putting off our own enjoyment until we can get to a place where we feel as though we can have it. You will get to that place. I feel like with this arrow, it feels there's a directness and a clarity with the arrow, and also it being so close to the clear quartz piece that it speaks to the fact that like at some point there will be some clarity, there will be energy, clear thinking, that sort of thing. And also this directness of the arrow says to me that like you'll be able to shoot your shot or get to where you need to be. But over the next few months, it might feel a little bit how do I want to say this? Like, overwhelm is not the right word. It's like, oh, there's a P out here. I guess a P must have fallen on the desk. I didn't see this. So there's a P. Do you have a Jeep, Janet? Maybe you need to buy a Jeep. Get in your Jeep and ride off. With your new lover. Just kidding. Go have some fun, Janet. Let's see here. What else do I see? This 5 here, I'm not really quite sure what this 5 is in dead in the center. I'm trying to figure out. I want to say, is there 5 members of your family? Does this decision or does this control, whatever you're managing here, is this going to affect 5 different people? Is the feeling that I'm getting? You used to have a Jeep? Do you miss it? Hey Ryan McGraw, how are you? Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. So this five to me feels like there might be five different people. Like it's is it you, your husband, and maybe three children? They may be adult children at this point, but I feel like it's almost like you're holding this in this five in the center of all of this sort of decision making that you're going to be doing over the next 6 months and trying to do it keeping your clarity of intuition, keeping your grounding, keeping your personal power in place, resisting the idea of sort of transforming or letting it all go just yet, because you've got work to do so that you can see it through to settle things for this five. Five dogs, maybe? Is that what it is? Oh shit, I dropped my phone. Sorry. Is that what it is? Maybe it's five dogs. Maybe they're in the just in the center of this and they're a focus point for you. I feel like whatever it is, this five feels like it's definitely sort of part of why you're doing what you're doing or why you're taking on what you're taking on over the next 6 months, right? This is sort of like what's the word I want to like a central factor or you know what I'm saying? Like yes, there are five, his three kids, me and him. That's kind of what I feel like this is like the family unit in the center here. And I feel like I'm going to say this, Janet, I feel like you're doing all of the work over the next 6 months for some reason. The kids might be I kind of get this feeling that the kids might be like maybe old enough or have moved on, they maybe not in the house, but you're sort of dealing with the decisions that may affect everybody. You're kind of really carrying the responsibility of that is kind of how I feel. And I think that with the horse here and these two crystals here, plus the arrow and the clear quartz, it says to me, the vibe I get here is although things might feel a little bit out of place for the next few months, you're in control and you're like you'll handle this to the best of your ability, right? Which will be sufficient. And if you believe in yourself, again, I'm going to take you to this charm here, which we need to sort of tap into is if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. So I think that over the next 6 months, if you find yourself making decisions that feel significant and I don't feel like you're overwhelmed, I just feel like you're kind of doing it on your own. And that's kind of, it's not a frustration, but it's just sort of like you have to put everything on pause. Maybe the things that Janet wants, per se, in an effort to help everyone else first, feels like the focus. Does that make sense? What did you say? The kids are worthless. Oops, did I say that? That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Is I feel like even though you're doing this for this five or the betterment of this five, and maybe it's the five dogs and or it's the husband and the three kids, but to me it feels like you're kind of it just feels like you're doing more stuff in an effort for them than they're willing to do for you. You're definitely doing it all on your own. So I don't know. I mean, I think you're going to be okay. I think that there is there is a little bit like I said, this cobra here face down and this four down here says to me there is going to be moments of frustration over the next 6 months. Like expect that, but that you're not going to let that get in your way. I do want you to be mindful of the fact that you might put off some things that would be opportunities for you to have fun or experience joy, and be mindful of that. Like, don't work yourself so hard that you're like totally denying any opportunity to have a little fun and be playful, because I think that this energy is here and wants to be flipped over, and it would make this experience a little bit easier. I also kind of feel like I really want this butterfly to flip over for you, but I don't think that you want it to just yet. Like I feel like, to be honest, like this is gonna sound weird or maybe rude, but honestly, I feel like if you were to allow this butterfly to flip over and this fun charm, right? These two happy dolphins to flip over. This butterfly, which sort of to me signifies you, might transform and just fly right away. and leave this whole situation, is kind of the vibe that I get. And so I feel like you're sort of denying that right now in an effort to do the right thing. And I think that that's honorable and good, right? And I think that there's a part of you that is smart enough and aware enough to know that this transformation can take place later down the line for you. So you're willing to sacrifice it and put it off and do the hard work to get yourself to this place so that once you get to this clear sort of feeling and thinking, you're able to sort of, use the directness of this arrow to sort of shoot yourself exactly to where you want to be and need to be. She says, yes, my hubby is sick and I'm the only caretaker and I do need to have fun. I think you do, dear. I think that, you deserve it. And I also want to say that it makes sense too, because you're saying you're his only caretaker, and then this lover's charm is here. Like, it makes me feel like a lot of what you do is from this really beautiful place of like caring for him and loving for him and doing the right thing. And the sick. How do I want to say this? I don't want to make light of your husband's sickness, but what I mean is that the sick, um, this sort of bony fish could also sort of be a little bit about your husband and like putting off this sort of transformation or this opportunity. Like, you're having this butterfly laying on this fish is sort of like, maybe it's protecting the fish, maybe you're the caretaking that you're doing, although it might be putting off some sort of like growth or expansion for you right now, you're willing to do that over the next 6 months from a place of love, right? And you're willing to put those things on pause for the betterment of the family and allow the sort of like your domestic life or your home life to sort of maybe get back on track. Does that make sense? Sorry, my hand's blocking that as I'm looking at the charms. I'm like so deep looking at the charms that I'm not even paying attention to how it looks on the camera. So I think that you are a kind of like, the best way to describe it would be like sort of maybe self-sacrificing for a good cause or a good reason, like for a noble. There's like to me it feels like there's a part of you that's trying to do the right thing from a place based in um, love. Yep, he needs me to stay and help him. And that's okay. I think that you can do that. I think that there's just a choice here, and there's a lot of responsibility that falls to you because of it. But I have to say this, Janet. The intuition is strong, the grounding is strong, you have personal power here, you have the clarity coming here, you have the arrow. There's a lot of stuff, the hard work, the helping hand, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, this helping hand also is flipped over, which says to me there's not a whole lot of help coming your way, but I do think that you're strong enough to handle this, and you know that. And you are doing it for the greater the good of the whole, which to me is a beautiful and noble idea. I just don't want you to sacrifice yourself in the process. So, which I don't know that you will. I just want you to, like, I get a good feeling from these charms that you're well aware of what's going on and when things are being sacrificed and when they're not. But I just want to say that to you because although it's a noble cause to sort of give help to others and do all of that sort of stuff, I never want to suggest like, oh, that's what you should do. Each person has their limits. Each person has the right to their own life and their own beliefs and all of that. So I try and honor that. But I do feel like what you are doing is for the greater good, and I think that that's beautiful. But I also do feel like you are capable enough to know when is too much versus when is not enough, and that these things are being placed on pause for you for a minute, consciously, right? Like, I feel like you're aware that you may be slowing down your own opportunity for growth and expansion, but that's okay. You're like okay with that, is what I feel from these. No, and I think that, to be honest, this butterfly is here, Janet, and the feeling that I get from this is the great transformation butterfly. This is the big butterfly. I also have a baby butterfly in there. So the fact that you got the big transformation says to me, you're placing it on hold to kind of deal with what you need to deal with. But when your time is right and ready, this transformation will take place. You just might have to like wait for a minute. And you're okay with that. And I think that you have the strength to do that. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't get a sense or a feeling that it's bad. I do think that if there's opportunities for you to have fun, take them. Like when you can, when you feel like it's okay, don't give up on all fun. Allow some fun in there because you deserve it. But she says, yeah, I'm okay, and it's been a long time of change. I believe that, and I think that the change, the giant butterfly to me says that the transformation, when it's all said and done, is going to, you're going to understand why you did it all, and I get a feeling that you're going to see yourself in a different light that's going to be um, beneficial, right? You're going to understand your own strength, you're going to understand your own sort of nobility for why you did what you did and for having done the right thing. You'll have sort of a different opinion of yourself. The way you view yourself will change for the better, like I think. And I'm not saying that you view yourself badly now. I'm just saying that I think that this transformation butterfly, if it comes about even later down the line, after having done the right things, we almost like gain more self-esteem from having waited it out and did the right things while we were waiting. Does that make sense? Well, then I will be waving at you guys from Westminster. Are you going to the dog show? That's cool. If what, and also I want to say too, Janet, if Westminster is this fun charm, do it. And don't pay attention to the opinions of fucking metal cobras. Like, if there's people around you that aren't doing any work and say, all right, so I'm just going to use this as an analogy. But if Westminster is like a break that you want to take while you're taking care of your husband and you want to zip to Westminster and see the dog show and that gives you joy, and maybe you need to get, say, somebody to come in and take care of your husband, or maybe you take your husband with you and people are like poo-pooing that. Maybe the kids are saying like, oh, you shouldn't do that, he's sick. If they're not stepping up to the plate to help you out, they don't get an opinion. Fuck them. Excuse my language, but like, you deserve to have fun. You know, so take that fun. If that means finding a caregiver for a few days so you can escape to Westminster, I think that that's okay to do that. Don't listen to the opinions of like metal cobras that can't find their ass from first base. That's kind of the feeling that I get there. So, it's real like nice way of talking. Whoops, what did I just do there? Where did the chat go? Just shut down the chat. How did I do that? No, there we go. So does that all make sense, Janet? Debbie Patansis, did you just order Charming? Awesome, thank you. I see that you sent over monies. Hey, Black Tree, how are you? So, Janet, do you need to take a screenshot of this? Just let me know that you've gotten a screenshot. If you haven't, then I will. Awesome, Debbie. We'll do you next once Janet gets a screenshot. Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate any and all charm purchases. They help to keep me in business. They feed my pets and me. They keep clothes on my body so that I don't get flagged for nudity and sexual activity in my videos. You got steamed cauliflower going? That sounds kind of good, Black Tree. Have you started hospice yet? Awesome. Thank you, Janet. So, Debbie, did you have a topic that you want me to charm on? You're welcome, Janet. Thank you. Where's the beef? Black tree? I think black tree might be vegetarian, Tammy. Leave black tree alone. She can have her steamed cauliflower. It's probably delicious. I actually like cauliflower and things like that. What is that? That's called the. It's like the same family as broccoli. Cruciferous or something like that. Some sort of weird name. General, see what happens. All right. Thank you. Let's do a general timing. Huh. So we have an S. Your daughter's name is Shay, right? Shae? Cruciferous. That's right. Thank you, Tammy. I kind of like those vegetables, the cruciferous ones. Um, this S just makes me think of Shay right out of the gate. I think that's your daughter's name, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if she's a point of interest for you right now or if she's drawing your attention, but you do have the letter S. So let me look at what this general is going on here. What the general is going on. Okay, I'm gonna ask. You're here with me, Debbie? All right, cool. Yes, Shay. Okay. I want to ask, and this is just a question. I don't want anybody to freak out. I don't want you to freak out or anything like that. But I do feel like this need to kind of ask about your health when I look at these charms. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying anything's wrong. But what I want to know is when was the last time that you've been to a doctor or seen a doctor, and have you been feeling well lately? Can you answer that question for me really quick before I go into the charming? Like, have you seen a doctor recently, or do you feel as though maybe you need to go see a doctor, or are you overdue for a checkup? Um, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. But and I don't want to freak you out. It's nothing bad. It's just sort of like you have the medical symbol up here, and you have the phone right next to the medical symbol. You also have this is Santa Muerte, which is sort of like the Mexican kind of. She's sort of like the Grim Reaper. But it's not death in that manner. I just feel like there's something going on. There's also something going on communication wise with you because you have the throat chakra, which is upright. So there's something that you need to communicate or something that needs to be communicated to you. You need to go soon. Okay, I feel like you do. And let me tell you this, the medical symbol is face down. So I don't think that this is like a dire thing, but the only thing is that these three here kind of say to me, is there some sort of stressors that are going on in your life or whatever that could be taking a toll and that you might need to go see a doctor and just make sure everything's above board, like get your checkup and make sure that you're okay. Because if you're worrying too much about something or I'm not sure, but I feel like this could be causing you undue worry, and it needs to be sort of either communicated to a doctor or you need to get communication from a doctor that you're okay so that you can have peace of mind. Um, but that would be my suggestion with this grouping of charms. You also have the guardian angel charm kind of looking over all of this, which makes me feel like, there is sort of this idea of being watched over right now. So, take that into account. Like I said, it's not a big deal. Just go to the doctor, or if you haven't been feeling well, or I don't know. You also have these two different healing charms here too. That's just the other thing. You also have double Leo, which is Wild. This is the symbol for Leo, and you also have the lion charm face down. You're not a Leo, are you, Debbie? Shay is having medical issues. Is that what's going on? Because there is this sort of thing here. So something's going on where, and guardian angels are looking over all of this right now. I just want you to know that. Like, so know that you're not like alone in this, or there's like sort of this charm here to me feels like others, angelic help, like kind of overseeing or assisting in the background while we move through this. Okay? You are Leo. All right. We have Leo right here dead in the center. We also have Leo up here, face down. So there's a lot of Leo, mommy Leo energy running around here. And we also have both these two healing, we have these two healing charms, right? That have to do with Reiki. So to me, this also speaks to the idea of like this idea of healing, bringing in healing. We have, oh fuck, look at this. You've got doubles of a lot of stuff. You have the heart here, the heart symbol, which is face down, next to the sacred heart symbol, which is face down. So this heart has the crown in it. And I just put all these different heart charms in here, right? But this is a lot about love and the idea of, to me, this sitting face down over these two is it's kind of like you're trying to heal heart or heal maybe your own heart's fear. I don't know what's going on with Shay, but if you're worried or nervous, that's okay. I know that you love her greatly. I know that you're trying to protect her with all this Leo energy and this heart energy here, and you're trying to keep her safe, if that makes sense. With underneath, like tucking it underneath this sort of healing energy of these two hearts were tucked in underneath this healing energy. It feels like you're trying, and again, this is also love too. This is the rose quartz. And it's funny, like as I'm looking at these charms, like it's weird, like I feel like you said just do general, right? So I didn't really split up the board into like subconscious, conscious, this, that, and the other. But I feel like the charms are kind of starting up here and working their way down to here, if that makes any sense. Like that's sort of the pattern or with the way that I feel like the flow of the energy is through the charms. So when we get past this Leo charm here, right? So we see these two connected hearts. Both are a little bit flipped over. Sorry, let me put them back the way they were. Both are feeling a little bit flipped over. Your energy, your Leonine mommy energy is all over them, which is okay. That's totally normal, right? Protective, mom, lion, you know, Leos have tons of that beautiful energy of the sun, right? So when they bestow their sort of energy on anything that they love, it has like the power to move fucking mountains. So I think that this is great that you have this. I also love that this dice here is green because this definitely speaks to that idea of deep healing, right? So you're saying, to me, it feels like you're staying very centered in all of this. Like if this would be the center of the reading. Up here, we have sort of this stuff going on where things are being communicated. There's some health stuff. We've got guardian angels looking over. You're trying to, you know, keep hearts like mellow and safe and protected with all of this leonine energy. This 6 to me feels like, again, a high number, and it's on a white die, which always signifies sort of spirit to me. There might be sort of also 6 members of a family or 6 people that might be involved in this closely that might be either assisting you or connected to this. But I feel like this also signifies like the idea that there is this spiritual help around you. So acknowledge that and allow that in, especially this guardian angel, right? This could be Shay's guardian angel even, but we need, oh, I'm like the top of my head is, excuse me, hold on. The right top of my head is being touched right now. Weird, wild. Okay, so this guardian angel is coming in and is watching over everything. So be mindful of acknowledging this angel. Not that this angel is going to go anywhere if you don't acknowledge it, but the more that you acknowledge it and allow it in, and know that it's a guardian angel, only speak to the guardian angel, right? If this is Shay's guardian angel or your guardian angel, I think it might be Shay's, I have a feeling, but just keep reminding, you know, every day, like, this is what I would do. This is what I would feel like I would do if this was my reading. I'll share it this way. Every day I would get up and I'd go, hey, Shay's guardian angel, how's Shay going to do today? How can I best help Shay, or how are we going to work this out today? Because this guardian angel, like, you're inviting them in, right? Shay's also needs to invite them in, right? But you can invite them in too. They can assist you and help you to deal with this, because it feels like you're kind of carrying the weight of all of this on this Leo charm. Underneath this, there's the hard work charm. You not only have the hammer, which is back, you also have, again, another communication. So you've got a lot of doubles. You've got the double healings, you've got the double hearts, you've got the double Leos, you've got the double communications, because this is the throat chakra, and this microphone is sort of like the it represents communication also, like speaking out or speaking your truth. So is this through the throat chakra. So you have a lot of like almost patterned charms. It's really sort of interesting, and I've not seen this many doubles going on. Also, the phone could be a form of communication too, but I think that this phone is tied into the medical stuff going on here, and there's a fear here. Santa Muerta isn't necessarily death, but she's representing sort of medical fear, I think. Like, her presence here is kind of maybe putting everybody on high alert when maybe they don't necessarily need to be, if that makes sense. But then as I come down this line here, right, I love that this is based in love. We have this strong basis, or this grounding stone down here of this rose quartz. We have further healing here, and then down here we have Vishnu, which is like the Indian, he's the Indian version of sort of God, right? Like, so Christ is the, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, right? In Indian culture, I believe, and I don't want to mess this up, but my limited knowledge is Vishnu is similar to the American version, or the, you know, Christian version of God, is how I see it. And Krishna, the son of Vishnu, who came from Vishnu, is like sort of the equivalent of Jesus Christ. You have Vishnu down here, which to me, I don't have necessarily a God charm. I have like a Jesus charm in the box and things like that. But it's like, if there was a God charm, this would be it. This is the closest thing that I have to like sort of the Almighty God. So he's down here at the basis of all of this, right? He's at the like the very how do I want to say this? Like the foot of this whole, the he to me feels like everything. How do I want to like the way this is all built upon? Like, this is all resting upon God's shoulders, is kind of how I want to say. You also have the dumbbell down here, which is sort of similar to this uh, hammer. This is like, there's a lot of hard work involved in this, but I feel like the hard work will pay off. I feel like God is here with you, and He is sort of at the bottom of all of this. If we seek Him out or search for Him, that His presence is here, and that is a good thing. And from that presence, from that knowledge, we're able to sort of build that love, which then allows us to sort of take on the hard work, communicate what we need, step into our own like keeping ourselves well healed and well taken care of, so that we can then take care of others around us. We can sort of mend hearts and minds, still, you know, keep that protective Leo barrier around us, and deal with everything that might be going on with Shay. Does that make sense to you? Are you seeing that? It is clear for you. Okay, good, Debbie. I just really want to express that there's some. It's interesting to me how these are laid out. It almost feels like this is the base of the situation, and it grows from there. But this all stems from God. Like, how do I want to explain this? Like, ultimately, whatever it is that you're dealing with, that there God's hand is in it somewhere, and you need uh, the more that you sort of connect with that idea, the easier the situation will be. Does that make sense? Like, the easier the love will be. I mean, I think that you have the love all the time, Debbie, but like this is really beautiful that it's right above God. So if we like place this, and I don't know what your religious beliefs are, so I don't know if you believe in God or not, if it's a religious God versus just a spiritual God. But whatever your idea of a higher power, the universe, whatever it is that you sort of pray to or believe in, know that it's sort of like the basis of this whole scenario. And although it's hard work and it's not easy, um, that when you know that, it makes it so that this love can be generated and sent up into this whole scenario. It is hard work, but like this love being sort of the hard work based on this love, it just sort of sets you up to sort of find your way through this. Margaret Patterson says, "Let go and let God." That's a great idea. I mean, not let go, but well, yes, you're right, Margaret. You're very right about that. Let go and let God. But what I mean is you don't have to let go of the situation, but trust that you're not alone in all of this. You all have God down here. You have the guardian angel up here, and then you also have the strength of this double Leo, like heart power, and all of this thing going on here, where it's like Wonder Twin powers activate. You're not gonna like uh, let this one win, so to speak. Good. Debbie says, "I believe in God and am growing closer." Know that he is at the, like, I kind of get the feeling the way that these charms are laid out, that underneath all of this, he is at the basis of all of this. Debbie says, "Yes, I get it, Margaret." Margaret's over on YouTube, so I'm just letting her know you're acknowledging what she said. Look, Stony says over on YouTube, "It looks like the charms are falling into God's hands." That's kind of what I feel like. It almost feels like a tornado in a way. You know how a tornado sort of starts with a funnel at the bottom and the eye of the storm is down here and then it spins and spins and spins? Although I didn't mean to knock that away from Leo. I don't feel like it feels out of control to me. I feel like you're dealing with it, but it is sort of like this, it's got this like funnel like effect where it opens up out here. That's how the charms look to me. Like when I was reading them, I was looking up here because this drew my attention immediately. But then I was watching them, I knew that they filtered down this way. Like the story goes this way. Normally the story goes this way for me on the board, but in this reading, it was going downwards. The basis of this is hard work and healing too, and both of these charms are on either side of God. So I feel like this may be a challenge in healing and hard work for you that he has set about for you, but it's not anything that you can't handle through sort of love and connection. Does that make sense? Without trying to make it sound too sort of like religious. Debbie says, "Yes, thank you, YouTubers." You guys can't see it, so I'm reading it back and forth to you guys. Are you falling into God's hands too, Mary? I think that's good. I think we all could use that. I need to fall into God's hands sometimes. Lately, I have been trying to more, more and more. So, okay, Debbie, thank you. Do you want to take a picture of this? And let me ask you this: do you talk to Shay about her guardian angels at all? Does she know or practice any of that, or just wondering? I'm just curious. Wait, how many twos do you have in here? You have the two hearts. You have the two. So that's 2 2. The two Leos. The two communication. And the two. Wait. 1 2. 1 2. 1, 2. That's 3 sets of 2. 1, 2. That's 4. 1, 2. That's 5 sets of 2. Wow, that's a lot of doubles. Yeah, show her this. Show her the video too, and just see what she has to say. I'd be interested in knowing what she thinks because um, I think that there's definite guidance here, and there's definite protection and love all around you guys. Hey, Andrea Moreno, we're doing charm readings tonight. They're $25. Payment can be sent to this link that I'm typing into the chat right now. And then you can choose the topic to be charmed if you're interested. Yeah, no, I thought about the 10 being a number 1 too, Stony. Like, I thought about that too, Mary. But I just think it's interesting. I was thinking that if there was 4 sets of 2s, because today is 22, 2020, which is basically 22 again, so it'd be 2, 2, 2, 2. But she's got 5 sets of 2s. That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of doubles. That's a lot of doubled up energy. To me, that speaks to, like, the idea of protection. I know that you're saying 2 equals healing, too, but it also is, like, it's funny, too, because I think of the 2 in the sense of her and her daughter. Like, that is a 2 also. There's definitely a tie in there. You know, the 2 hearts, the 2 Leos, the 2 forms of communication, the 2 healing charms. Yeah, Debbie, whenever you want to, you know how to do it. You get privates with me all the time. You know how to get a hold of me. Whenever you're ready, you just let me know. All right, so you got a picture, yes, Debbie? I just don't want to take it down. You did. It says here, I did. Thank you. I think you got a picture. I just want to make sure you did. I know it's Mary saying twin flames. I'm going to do a twin flame pick a card soon. I don't know. Let's see how that goes. Watch, it's actually turns out to be really good or some shit. I don't know. I'm kind of reluctant to do it. Well, I mean, I would think that they would feel each other's emotions, especially with those 2 hearts on the board there. For sure. And, you know, a mother can tap into her children, like, super easy. I think. Most mothers can. I mean, I imagine there might be a mother or 2 that can't, but I think that most mothers can tap into the emotions of their children very quickly because they carried them for so long. There's, like, natural sort of energetic connections that are just pre-existing just because you rode around in that body for 9 months. And mother is only 1 letter away from the word smother, so think about it. Did you get a picture, Debbie? I just want to make sure before I clear the charms. I don't want to clear the charms if you haven't gotten the picture yet. You did. Okay, I'm going to clear away the charms. You had the Rolls Royce of rides. What do you... Oh, you mean riding around in somebody's belly for 9 months? So if anybody's interested in charming, let me know. If not, I'll just sort of wrap up for the night. But if there's anybody out there that's interested, now would be the time to jump. I don't want my iRobot, like, hello. Now would be the time to jump in if you're interested. And if not, then we're going to do this again on Friday night too, so it will be available then. Checking my PayPal just to make sure nobody slipped in. Sometimes that happens. You want a yes, no what? Like a yes, no charming, Mary? Or a yes, no... That's fine, Lisa. We can do one for you in February. Mary, are you talking about yes, no charming? Or what are you asking? When you're saying, can we do yes, no? I could do a pendulum swing for a yes, no if you want that. Or... I mean, I could try and do a charming, like a quick charming, and see if there's a... With the cards? For a question? What do you want? What kind of... What's your question without getting too specific? You know, like without giving me too many details is what I mean. Like, what would the subject be on? Is it on, like, a move? Is it on love? Is it on... Oh, excuse me. And anybody that's watching that might be new, if you're interested in coming back, please hit the like button or the subscribe button. Like my business page so that you'll get alerted, and hit notifications so that you'll get alerted when I come back on and go live again. We do free card pulls on certain nights of the week. This is just not one of them. On the right path. I can look into that. So you want me to look at a card for you on whether or not you're on the right path? I just want to make sure that that's what you want before I get started. Okay. So I'm just going to ask, is Mary Lyman on the right path? Let's see what the cards give us. So Mary, as I'm shuffling the cards, the thing that I want to say to you is, how do I want to ask this? What is your level of tension? I feel like there's a fair amount of tension in these cards. I get the picture of, like, when was the last time you had a massage? I know that sounds crazy, but like I feel like bodily you might be carrying a fair amount of tension at this point. That's kind of what I'm feeling as I'm shuffling these cards. They feel a little tense to me. They feel a little rigid. And then it feels like at the physical body level, you might be carrying a little bit of tension that you might need to sort of get a little bit of, I don't know if you've ever gotten massages before or if you like massages, but I kind of got this little visual that maybe you could use one. I don't know if you could, you know, feel like you can treat yourself to something like that. Would that make sense to you? Because I feel that with the cards as I'm shuffling them. It doesn't feel bad. It looks like you're managing things. They're coming together, but they just feel tense. Like, whoops. And now that they're like, as I'm talking about it, they're almost getting a little bit more tense. So I don't know if you like massages or feel like you can treat yourself to a massage. But, hello, Queen of Swords. She was here this morning. So I just interpreted her this morning, but this is all about the intellect, babe. This is all about being up in our heads. This is all about sort of, when I look at this in regards to your situation, I don't feel like you're on the wrong path, I would say that. I do feel like this feels to me like you might be afraid of the path that you're on or cautious about the path that you're on. There might be a part of you, excuse, excuse me, that doesn't quite trust the path that you're on just yet, right? But I feel like with this Puma, she's got strength and she's got the ability to kind of adjust and still be strong, like within her situation. The situation might feel a little unknown or foreign to her right now, or there might be changes that are happening that she's sort of sitting back and watching and sort of waiting for the next cue, when to move, when to leap, that sort of a thing. I do feel like this sword, like I've said in other readings, her sword is withdrawn, like she's like kind of taking notes mentally of what's going on around her, and she's acknowledging that and kind of taking that all in and processing it using her discernment. But I also feel like when I'm looking at this card in reference to you, there's a weight on this sword across your back where I feel like you're carrying a lot of pressure. Like, to me, when I look at this sword and this crown, which normally when I look at this card in, like, say, a daily reading, it doesn't feel as heavy. When I'm looking at this card right now, that sword and that crown look heavy to me for you. In the sense that you might feel a little bit alone. You might feel that you're carrying the burden by yourself. You might feel like heavy is the, what is it? Heavy is the head that wears the crown kind of thing. Like, in the sense that, like, you might not feel like you can trust a lot of people. You might not feel like you have a lot of support right now. And so that crown feels a little bit heavier for you because you have to rely solely upon yourself and what you know to be true to kind of get you through this situation. I don't think that this is a bad card, though, and I don't think that you're on a wrong path. What I do think is that the path might seem a little bit intimidating to you, but you've forgotten that you're the motherfucking Queen of Swords. Excuse my language. There's a power in her, there's a decisiveness in her, and there's this idea that when she sort of sets her mind to something, she is unstoppable. And so to me, I feel like there's just this little bit of trepidation or last minute hold back where you haven't quite set your mind to exactly how you want to do it. And that's the part that maybe is creating the tension or the part that's making you feel unsure. And I think that with this card, it says to me, you need to give yourself more credit and like honor your worth, right? Even if people around you aren't. And part of the reason why they aren't is because you're not voicing it. Like, I feel like she's keeping very, very quiet, this Queen of Swords. So she's keeping a lot of her thoughts to herself. She's trying to stay out of the trouble. She's trying to stay up, keeping her opinions to herself. But she's also trying to figure out how she feels about what's going on around her and what her next move is. But she will figure it out. She is the Queen of Swords, right? So she's no joke, Mary. She needs to remember who she is. And heavy is the head that wears the crown, but you know what? So strong is the fucking neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, that carries that head and crown. So remember that too as you move forward. She is a pretty card. She was this morning's card, actually. I believe, right? Wasn't she with? Yes, she was with us this morning. So I don't think that you're on the wrong path per se. I think that you just don't fully trust what is going on around you, and you're just trying to be 100% sure before you kind of take that leap, so to speak. But when you do, you will, and it will be okay. She's the Queen of Swords. Is your neck really all metal? Shut up, Mary. Are you serious? That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I mean, it's not hilarious that your neck is all metal, but I didn't know that when I said that. Damn, he pulled that ripcord. When were you, Mary? Were you here last night or the other night for the Triple H show or whatever the hell I can help you hour when we were hashtagging jump bitch? This would be that one of those situations where this would be like jump bitch. And you'll be fine. When you do decide to jump, you will, and you'll do it with a decisive air. The Queen of Swords makes no mistakes. That's the thing. She might be a little reluctant in making a decision right now, but once she makes the decision, it will be clean and clear as to why and when. Excuse me. That's wild, Mary. I know it got really quiet in the chat. It looks like we have 16 viewers. Ducky, what do we have in viewership that you see? Because my restream is saying we have 16 viewers. So I know that 3 of them are Tammy, Lisa, 4, Kelly's here over on YouTube. We have some lurkers, I think. Or people have just fallen asleep in the chat. You're welcome, Mary. You're totally welcome. You've got this, girl. There are no wrong decisions. It's all gonna lead you somewhere. 8 from Facebook. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Did you see your Gemini Toroscope? It went up for February. And the Gemini's a good one, I felt like. I felt like the Geminis are getting it together. I really liked Gemini's reading for February. Hey, Christina, how are you? Yeah, check it out. Tell me what you think. It just feels like you guys are going to do some good work. And if you know any, what was the Aquarians? Connect with Aquarians in the month of February and tell me what happens. Because Aquarius is up there too, and with all the other air signs, and it feels very much like the Aquarians and the Geminis are on the same sort of trajectory for the month of February. Very similar trajectories, so I think that they would be able to assist and help each other with pushing forward in their goals, because they're both like vibrating in the same sort of space. And the funny thing is the beginning of February is the second half of the Aquarian birth period, right? Their time of the year to celebrate their birthdays and stuff. So that energy is like positively, I think, affecting the Geminis. So bathe in that, right? Like, get some of that water from the water bearer and wash them pits out with it. It'll be good. It'll be good. Good, Christina. You're a Gemini. I was just saying that I put up the air signs for February 2020. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are up, and then I put up the water signs also today. So that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are up. So, and then tomorrow I'm going to hopefully at least get one done, if not both. I have to take Arthur to the vet because he's got to have his 3rd round of kitty shots. So we've got to do that at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and that's really the main thing I have to do. So I'm going to hopefully, if I can get both done tomorrow, I will, but I'll at least try and get one done when I get back from the vet. Either earth or fire. You're the fucking Queen of Swords, Mary. Yes, you are, girl. It was good, Lisa. Thank you. She says the Toroscope for Scorpio was extremely resonating. It was sort of interesting that all that Wands energy on the outside of the Scorpios, it got kind of weird for me. So I'm glad that you said that, because I went long on Scorpio because I had a hard time sort of describing what I was feeling with that 4 of Wands on one side and the Queen of Wands on the other. It was like, this is a lesson that you guys are kind of, there's no way around it. Like, it feels like Scorpio's going to face it either way, whether you take the fast road or the slow road. Yes, bitch. That's Tammy's master. Awesome, Renee. You should check out the Taroscopes that I put up. Go over to my YouTube channel and give it a view and tell me what you think. And Gemini starts off the air signs, obviously, so that's kind of cool. You guys don't have to dig through. I did put timestamps in the video descriptions. Tammy, Aquarius is up. Capricorn is not always last. What are you talking about? I did Aquarius. I did the air signs first because February is the beginning of February, which is the month that the Taroscope is for, is the celebratory time of Aquarius. So I started with the air signs, and then February to March is the water signs. So I went, because that's Pisces. So I thought that what carries over in February is the energy of air and water. So that's where I went. And so that's how I decided to do it, because generally Pisces, has to wait till the very bitter end. So I didn't want to make that. And then next month when I do Marches, I will start with the water signs, because it's the first half of March is Pisces, and then I'll go into the fire signs because the second half of March is Aries. So that's how I'm going to do it, and that way everybody doesn't feel like they have to wait until the last kind of thing. So it'll be dependent on which month I'm working on and which signs fit into that month as far as their birthdays and stuff. So if it's a month where it's water fire, then it's going to be the waters will lead and fire will follow, vice versa. So the following month will be fire, right? Is that how that would work? So March would be, I would start with water and then I would go into fire, and then the following month I would do fire and then into earth, something like that. It makes sense in my head. You did see it, Tammy? Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Always waiting on Virgo. Oh, you poor babies. Oh, I'm waiting on Virgo. Oh, poor me. Help. Always waiting on Virgo. You'll be fine. It'll happen, I promise. I promise. All right, you guys, if nobody else is interested in, well, generally I start with Aries and work my way down, and when I was doing them singularly, so it's just I've decided to do it in groups of 3 because it's faster for me. It's easier. And also, like today, even though it took me a couple of hours to do it, I'm already halfway done, which is great. And when it has to be done every month, it feels like the month just slips away, and the next thing you know, you need to redo them again, and you're like, oh shit. It's like, I'm so glad I don't do it weekly. Like, there's people that do weeklies on top of the dailies that I do. I would just be like nuts. I can barely get a pick-a card out on top of it all. So, and I need to do more pick-a cards. I do the wine so well. I know. I'm good at it. I practice with my dogs. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to sign off because we're all good. Let me just double check PayPal and make sure, but I think we're good. I appreciate everybody who bought a reading tonight and all of those of you that watched and attended and stayed and hung out and chatted with us. I love it when you guys do that, so thank you very much. Again, we'll be doing this again on Friday night if you'd like. If you're interested, you could certainly always ask any questions beforehand or reserve a spot for Friday. I'm always available for private readings if you're interested in that. You just have to message me at the business page, and those can be done over Facebook video or over the phone. And that's it. You guys like, share, comment, subscribe, do whatever you do to support the channel. I appreciate all of it. And yeah, Lisa Vanderhelm says, please come back to all the newcomers. Kelly Talbot is a chunky, 100%. And by the way, you guys, chunky is my Charm Junkies. So pound chunky. And that's what we've named the Charm Junkies, the people that like to watch the charmings and get dazed and charmed into watching the charmings. Those are my chunkies. So they're Charm Junkies. And then as of last night, I am now Tarot Winfrey. I'm still laughing about that one. So, I am Teroper Winfrey, and this is your Chunky Hour, your Chunky Angel Network. So stupid. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. I feel like I have phlegm in my throat. Like I just coughed up something and it felt like sick, gross phlegm. I hope I'm not getting sick. My throat feels funky. Man, I haven't been sick in a long time. I better not be getting sick. Fuck that. All right. So I will see you guys in the morning for the forecast, and yeah, all right. So go out there, like, share, Teropra, exactly. Kelly, here Kelly. Here's how they go. This is Chunky, Chunkie. This is a Chunky. Hold on. Let me see here. I'm gonna show you how to spell these. Oh wait, that doesn't work. So that's a Chunky, that's a Charm Junkie, right? There's Chunky. And then this is, oops, Teropra. Oh, I forgot my P. Teropra. That's how you spell Teropra. Because you gotta get the whole word Tero in there, because that second T is silent, so that's how it works, and it still sounds like Oprah. It's Teropra. So, Teroper Winfrey, you get a card, and you get a card, and you get a card. We all get cards! So, yeah, it's just my own little joke. All right, you guys, now that, you know, I've been actually tagging the videos with Teropra. So stupid. All right, yeah, Chunkies for life. Yeah, Lisa Vanderhelm's like, you know, she's like a, what do they call it? What were those? Chicanos. Junkies. Junkies for life. Hey, Bato. Oh, I see you got some charms there. Throw them for me, Bato. Hey, way. Throw them charms my way. Show me my futura, Bato. Alright, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you guys later. I'm starting to do gang. I'm gonna start throwing gang symbols in a minute. We need to stop. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.